Kilmar Garcia, a Salvadoran national, found himself at the heart of a political firestorm. His story, initially championed by Democrats as a blatant example of the Trump administration's harsh immigration policies, quickly became more complex. Garcia, who had been living in Maryland, became a symbol of the plight faced by undocumented immigrants under an administration keen on deportations. He was portrayed by some as a hard-working family man, caught in the crosshairs of a draconian immigration system. Democrats, eager to highlight what they viewed as the administration's cruel and inhumane approach to immigration, rallied around Garcia. He became a talking point, his case a rallying cry for those opposed to Trump's immigration agenda. However, this groundswell of support was not built to last. As more details about Garcia's past emerged, the narrative began to unravel, leaving Democrats in a precarious position. The initial wave of support began to recede as allegations of Garcia's past conduct came to light. The narrative of the hard-working family man was thrown into question as whispers of domestic abuse and potential gang affiliation started to surface. This turn of events left many Democrats grappling with the implications of their unwavering support for an individual whose past was now shrouded in controversy. The case quickly evolved from a straightforward story of immigration enforcement to a complex dilemma that exposed the fault lines within the Democratic Party on the issue of immigration. In a shocking turn of events, Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, filed a protective order against him. This legal action painted a disturbing picture of Garcia as an abuser. The protective order detailed claims of physical violence not only against Sura, but also against a child. This revelation further complicated the narrative surrounding Garcia. Sura alleged that Garcia's behavior posed a threat to her safety and the well-being of her children, including Garcia's stepson. This development cast a long shadow over the image of Garcia as a devoted family man, an image that had been central to the initial support he received. The protective order became a turning point in the public perception of Garcia and presented a significant challenge for those who had been advocating for his cause. The allegations of domestic violence had already taken root in the public consciousness. The details outlined in the protective order were jarring, particularly the claims of violence against a child. This information shifted the narrative from Garcia being solely a victim of aggressive immigration policies to a man accused of serious wrongdoing. The protective order, regardless of its later withdrawal, introduced an element of doubt and discomfort for many of Garcia's supporters. It raised questions about his character and the nature of his home life, issues that were difficult to ignore in light of the serious allegations. The protective order, coupled with emerging details about his past, made it increasingly difficult for Democrats to continue their unwavering support. Adding another layer of complexity to the case were reports of Garcia's alleged ties to the notorious MS-13 gang. Law enforcement officials, citing court documents and police records, pointed to a history of criminal activity. These records documented instances of domestic violence, further tarnishing Garcia's image. The allegations of gang affiliation were particularly damaging, playing directly into the Trump administration's narrative about the dangers posed by undocumented immigrants. The Trump administration exposed Garcia as a dangerous criminal, a threat to public safety who needed to be removed from the country. President Trump himself weighed in on the case, using Garcia as an example to justify his administration's aggressive deportation policies. Attorney General Pam Bondi echoed these sentiments, stating unequivocally that Garcia would not be allowed back into the United States. The Trump administration argued that Garcia's gang ties and criminal history posed a significant risk to the safety and security of American citizens, justifying his deportation and continued exclusion from the country. The revelation of Garcia's criminal history and gang affiliation provided the Trump administration with potent ammunition. They proved that Garcia was a threat, and that the deportation was justified. This strategy effectively neutralized much of the criticism leveled against the administration, and resonated with those who supported their tough stance on immigration. Garcia's case became a legal battleground, with his attorneys challenging the Trump administration's actions. They argued that Garcia's deportation was a violation of his due process rights, setting off a protracted legal fight. This ruling highlighted the potential overreach of the judicial branch on executive powers. The case exposed the deep divisions within the Democratic Party on the issue of immigration. While some Democrats, like Senator Chris Van Hollen, continued to advocate for Garcia's return, others distanced themselves from the case. The political fallout was immediate and divisive, forcing Democrats to grapple with the complexities of immigration reform and the potential pitfalls of championing individuals without thorough vetting. The Garcia case became a cautionary tale about the perils of rushing to judgment in the often charged debate over immigration. It underscored the need for a nuanced approach, one that balances compassion with a realistic understanding of the complexities involved in immigration enforcement. The case also brought to the fore the very real human consequences of policy decisions, prompting a broader conversation about the balance between national security concerns and the protection of individual rights. The case of Kilmar Garcia served as a stark reminder of the human stories at the heart of the immigration debate. It highlighted the challenges faced by both Democrats and Republicans in navigating this complex and emotionally charged issue.